Alright, so we're going to be writing linear equations, and we'll be working with slope-intercept form and another form which I'll tell you in a little bit. So slope-intercept form, for a reminder, is y equals mx plus b, where m equals the slope and b stands for the y-intercept. So if we had Alright, sorry about that pause. So let's say we had y equals 2/3 x plus 4. The slope then is 2/3, and the y-intercept is 4. So that means it crosses the y-axis at 4, and the slope is 2, so I'd go up 2 over 3 and make another point, and then connect those lines. Another example would be y equals negative 2x minus 5, so the slope equals negative 2, or negative 2 over 1, and the y-intercept equals negative 5. So it crosses at negative 5, and the slope is negative 2, so I'd go down 2 over to the right 1, and keep doing that, and then connect the 2 points. If we had an equation that's not in slope-intercept form, such as negative 5, y equals 3x minus 30, then I would have to solve for y, so I'd divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5. So then I'd have y equals negative 3/5 x plus 6. So the slope is negative 3/5, and the slope is, the y-intercept is 6. So it crosses the y-axis at 6. Then I go down 3 over 5, make another point, and then connect those, and I'd have my graph. If I was picking a point or writing a slope-intercept form from a graph, I'll make a rough sketch here. So let's say I have this point right here, this graph, and let's say that's negative 3. So it's crossing the y-axis at 0, negative 3. So since it's horizontal, it is a 0 slope. So a 0 slope means that the line is horizontal and it goes through the y-axis. So my y-intercept equals negative 3. And since I have a 0 slope, I can put it in slope-intercept form. It'd be y equals, slope is 0, x minus 3. And then solve that. 0 times x is nothing, so 0, so it'd just be y equals negative 3. So then that would be my slope-intercept form of this graph here, y equals negative 3. So let's say I have a slope of 2 and a point of negative 1, 3. Remember that's x and y. And since I want to write it in linear equation form, which is the y equals mx plus b, so I can put y is 3, my slope is 2, x is negative 1, and what I don't know is where it crosses the y-axis. So that's what I'm going to find out. So now I have 3 equals negative 2 plus b, add 2, so 5 equals b, so my intercept, y-intercept is 5. So to write this in slope-intercept form, then I now have y equals, my slope, if you remember, was right there, that's 2, so I have 2x, and my y-intercept is 5, which is right there. So then I would write plus 5. So that's how I would get if I was just given a slope and a point on the graph on the line. Let's do one more like that. Let's say my slope equals negative 2, and it goes through a point on my graph at 6. So if I would graph that, I'd put a point at negative 4, 6, then go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, connect those, and I'd have a graph. But to write an equation for this, a linear equation, in the form of y equals mx plus b, y is 6, my slope is negative 2, x is negative 4, and what I'm trying to find out is the y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. So I have 6 equals negative 2 times negative 4 is 8. subtract 8, so I have negative 2 equals b, which is my y-intercept. So now I have all the information I need. So I'd write y equals, my slope is negative 2 from the beginning, x, and my y-intercept is negative b or minus b. So there would be my equation of the line. Alright, so the next one would be, let's say I was given 2 points, 2, 3, and 1, 5. So I don't have a slope yet, so the first thing I'd have to do is find a slope. So m, which is slope, equals subtract your y's over subtract your x's. So I have 3 minus 5. Since I started with the first one, this one here, I have to go back to that one. And then I'd have 2 minus 1, so I'd have negative 2 over 1, which would be negative 2. So that is my slope. Now I can do this 2 different ways, and I'm going to show you both ways. I can take my slope-intercept form of a line, which is y equals mx plus b, and just take information that I'm given. So y, I can pick either of the points. I can either pick this point or this point. Remember, they're xy, xy. So I can use one of those 2 points in this equation here. Just substitute them in for x and y. I know what my slope is, which is negative 2, so that's going to go in for m. So I'm just going to pick the first one, 2, 3. Like I said, you can pick either one, 2, 3, or 1, 5. It does not matter. I'm going to pick 2, 3. So y is 3 equals, my slope is negative 2, x is 2, and what I don't know then is my y-intercept. So I have 3 equals negative 4 plus b, add 4, so I have 7 equals b. So now I have all the information I need. So my linear equation would be y equals, my slope from the beginning was negative 2, x, and my y-intercept, which is b, is 7. So there is my equation for the given 2 points, and have to find the slope first. Alright, the other way would be to take these 2 points again, and the next one is called point-slope form. So once again, if I'm given 2 points, and I need to write an equation of the linear equation of a line, then I could use a point-slope form, which is y minus y1. y1 stands for one of the points, either this one or this one. It does not matter which one you pick. You can pick either one. Equals m, which is your slope, times x minus x1. And your x1, this is either the 2 or the 1. Once again, it does not matter, but you have to stay with the same point. So if I pick 3 for my y1, then I have to use 2 for my x1. If I use 5 for my y1, then I'd have to use 1 for my x1. It does not matter which point you pick. You can pick either point. It'll work for that, either one of them. So once again, I'm just going to pick the first point. So I have y minus, y1 is 3, equals, my slope, I don't know what that is. Whoops, sorry about that. Let's find that first. So 3 minus 5 over 2 minus 1, so I'd have negative 2 over 1. So that's negative 2. So that was from before, so I just redid it for you. So we have negative 2 for my slope times x, and since I used 3, which is in the first point, then I have to use 2 from that ordered pair. So then I'd have y minus 3 equals, then I have to distribute this, that times that, and that times that. So I'd have negative 2 times x, negative 2x, and negative 2 times negative 2, which would be plus 4. So we're going to solve for y, so I'm going to add 3, so I have y equals negative 2x plus 7. So if you look back at the original, or the first equation I used using the slope-intercept form, this equation is exactly the same as the one I just found now. So it does not matter which form you use. Some people prefer the point slope, which is the one I just did, and some prefer the other way. So it doesn't matter, you get the exact same answer for writing a linear equation. And let's say I have another example. My x-intercept, let's say, is 3, negative 3. So that means it crosses the x-axis at negative 3, 0. And my y-intercept is 2. So once again, I can use whatever equation. Usually this one, the slope-intercept form, is the easiest one. So y, I would put in then 0, because that is my y right there. Then I would have equals my slope. I don't know what that is on there. So that's what I'm going to try to figure out, because I'm given where they cross the x and y axis, but I'm not given the slope. So that's what I'm going to try to figure out here. But my x-intercept, which is x right here, would be negative 3. So I'm using this, negative 3 in for x. And then plus my y-intercept, which is this right here, I'd put in 2. So we've got different colors to kind of represent there. So we have 0 equals negative 3m plus 2 minus 2 minus 2. So negative 2 equals negative 3m. Divided by negative 3, divided by negative 3. So m equals negative 2 over negative 3 is 2. Let me write that better. 2 over 3, so that is my slope. So my equation then would be y equals, my slope is 2/3, x, and my y-intercept, which is way up here, is 2, so it'd be plus 2. So that's how I'd write my equation. So if you're given the x-intercept and y-intercept, you can use the slope-intercept form and just substitute the number you point in for x and y. You have to find the slope. You're given the y-intercept, which is 2. So you're given a lot of information. You're just solving for one variable, m, to get that slope. Once you have the slope, you already have that, which I just made a square around. And like I said, way up here, I'm underlining again, that's my y-intercept. So that's how I got the y equals 2/3 x plus 2. And my last example would be to find k in this equation. 5x plus ky equals 8. And I'm given a point of 3, negative 1. Once again, this is x, this is y, so I can substitute those numbers in for my x and y in my equation and then solve for k. So 5 times my x was 3 plus k, I don't know what that is because I'm trying to figure that out. Y is negative 1 equals 8. So I have 15. K times negative 1 is negative 1k, so minus 1k equals 8. And then we'd subtract 15. Subtract 15. So I have negative 1k equals negative 7. Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. So k equals 7. So that's what you have to do there. So you don't have to write in an equation or anything. They were just already did most of that for you. They just want you to figure out what k represents given a point. So you just substitute all the information in there and then solve for k. So that's how you do there. And that is a lesson for that. So good luck.